going on, everybody? It's PapaStones coming back with another video. Today I'm finally going over everything that has been revealed and that is currently updated on the Star Wars Unlimited website for the next set. So yeah, I'm going to jump right into it because I feel like this is going to be long, and I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible, but I still want to do a good job explaining what I think. So we're starting off with blue. You got High Labon Enforcer. It's got grit, and then Bounty, draw a card. It's a 1/4. The grit's nice. It's okay. I mean, I feel like this is realistically just a worse Scout Bike Pursuer, or another Scout Bike Pursuer. If you're playing like Grand Inquisitor or something, might not be bad, but it's average. We'll see how it goes. Jump into Pike Sentinel. It's literally a 2/3 Sentinel. It's meh. I mean, it's the lowest cost Sentinel we have so far, being that it's 2, but it's a 2/3. So it's not really going to do much in the current meta because everyone's pretty much running 3 attackers everywhere. So it'll save you a little HP if you have to play it, but I mean, it might be a side deck card against super aggro decks, but it's okay. I wouldn't say it's great. Wouldn't say it's bad. We got First Light, rare. I probably should have said the rarities. We're gonna go back. That's a common. This is a common. We got First Light, which is a rare. It's got Smuggle to 7 and a blue black, and deal 4 damage to a friendly unit. So technically, it costs 1 less when you smuggle it because you play it as the resource, but you gotta deal 4 damage to something. But that could be okay, right? Because what is it? I think, yeah, grid is every damage on it gains 1. So you could technically bring this out on turn 6 and make it an 8/3. Or you could hit something else, obviously, if you wanted to do that. But instead of bringing it out as a 4/7 with grit, you could just make it an 8/3. So I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. I think this card will be good if grit does alright. If it's not as control-y of a meta, I guess. But I think this card's pretty solid. Yeah. I could see that seeing some good play. You got Calculated Lethality. Defeat a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less. For each upgrade that was on that unit, give an experience token to a friendly unit. This is an S? What does that even mean? Special? That must mean it's in a starter deck. I think that's what that means, right? But besides the point, this is a side deck card. If upgrades pick up, it's good. If not, why would you want to pay 4 to defeat a unit that costs 3? Just doesn't seem good. I think that's a side deck card, but I don't know. Moving on. We got Razor Crest. It's another special card, okay. Mandalorian Vehicle Transport. Restore 2. When played, you return an upgrade from your discard pile to your hand. It's a 3/4 in space. I feel like this card's really solid. Like, for those mid-range style, like there's that Luke Green floating around right now. Like, I feel like that would be so nice in there. Because you get Restore 2, and you can get an upgrade. I mean, in the Luke version, it might not be that great, but like probably in Mandalorian, you get to grab something back. Sure, it's whatever. Or you could grab back, I think bounties are technically upgrades, so you could grab back a bounty if you're playing that style. I think this card's good. Like, I think it'll see play. If everything's all subjective, I won't throw that out there. Obviously, it's if the meta allows, because if it's like all control, then upgrade turbo decks get way worse, right? But if it's like super aggro, then this card would be really good. So take everything with a grain of salt, but at the same time, I think this card's super playable. Then you got Rose Tico, a uncommon, 2/6 4 cost, shielded. On attack, you may defeat a shield token on a friendly unit. If you do, give 2 experience token. I don't hate that. I mean, I feel like it would be better in like a deck with more shields, but at the same time, like if you're playing green, you could ECL this out, and you could attack and take off your own shield and make it a 4/8 on the come out. Or if it just plays and sticks and then you attack, take your shield off. It could be a 4/8, so it's got possibilities. It's not the worst card I've ever seen in my life. Like, I think if there's a shield style archetype, then it'll be good. But I don't know. Let's see. Then you got Armorer, which is a uncommon 5-cost 3/5. Pretty bad stats. When played, give a shield token to each of up to 3 Mandalorian units. Speak of the devil, that I was just talking about Rostico with shields. Yeah, this card is good, right? Like, it could be good, it could be bad, because, I mean, realistically, you're probably dropping this, like, immediately. Like, I feel like, I'm not talking about leaders currently, because I'm just waiting for all those to come out, but I feel like if you're flipping your Mandalorian leader, if you're playing it, right, and or I think Boba technically has the keyword Mandalorian. I gotta go look now because I'm curious. I'm pretty sure he does, but no, he doesn't. Okay, he just has Underworld Bounty Hunter. I thought he would have had it, but whatever. So yeah, if you flip the Mandalorian later or whatever, or you can flip Mandalorian, drop this, and you for sure get 2. Or if you're already ahead, this card's real good. Kind of like a win more, so it's hit or miss, but I think it's definitely got a place. That's probably why the stats are so bad. But yeah, so now we got Gentle Giant Grit, and on attack you may heal damage from another unit equal to the damage on this unit. It's an interesting concept, but I feel like, at least currently, and this could change, right? But currently there's not a lot of things that, like, stick around, if that makes sense. Like, most people aren't hitting into things and, like, dealing 1 damage, you know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, it doesn't have Sentinel, so that kind of hinders that aspect. I mean, basically, you're going to be ramming it into stuff, right? But, I don't know. I don't think it's too great. But the 8 health with grit is kind of cool. You could go... No, Blacklight's a villainy card. I was going to say you could go Blacklight into this, but... out of aspect Blacklight or something that... You know, you ping your own guys or whatever, but I don't think it's too great. Then you got Mandalorian Legendary. A 6-cost 5/6 Sentinel. When played, you may heal all damage from a unit that costs 2 or less and give 2 shield tokens to it. Well, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's kind of average. Like, I feel like obviously you'd have to be protecting something that you think is important enough, but I feel like either this is coming out on turn 8 when you can play it and a 2-cost, or like a 2-cost and it realistically, or you have to have a 2-cost that's stuck around for some reason. Because like if your 2-cost is important enough that you want to give it 2 shields, then the opponent would probably try and clear it if they have the choice. So I don't know. It's hit or miss. It's got decent stats for being a 6-cost too, so it's playable. But Moisture Farmer, Restore 2 when this unit attack. Oh yeah, that's what Restore is. It's a common. It's a 0/4, a 1-cost. So this is like a anti-aggro tech at its fine. Like you're doing nothing. Like you're hitting for no damage, but you're for sure healing 2 damage. I mean, unless you buff it, right? But I don't know. If aggro's prominent, sure. If not, this card is worthless. But even if aggro's prominent, it might be too worthless because they just clear it, you know? Like, they don't just play around it. Like, I don't think it's that good. Then we got Follower of the Way, which is a Mandalorian common 2 costs. When this unit is upgraded, it gets +1/+1. It's a 1/3. So, I mean, I guess if you bring it out with an upgrade, it comes out as a 2/4, but like if you're, I feel like that's too reliant. I guess I don't know. I don't know how good the Mandalorian upgrades will be, or upgrades that are playable in what colors you'd be playing, regardless. So it's kind of dependent on that, but like I don't know. I mean, I could see it being playable, but it's still nothing spectacular, I guess. We're gonna move on from that. We're gonna go to Vigilant Pursuit Craft. A 5-cost common 3/5 Sentinel, and it's got Smuggle 7. If this card is, yeah, just Smuggle 7. Yeah, it's, I mean, 5 health in space is nice, I guess, but that costs way too much, I think. Like, what's his System Patrol Craft is a 3/4 for 4. You're losing 1 HP. Like, I think that's bad. And the last blue card, we have Top Target. It is attached unit gains bounty, heal 4 damage to a unit or base. If this unit is unique, heal 6 damage instead. This unit is defeated. Yeah, okay. So, I don't know. I mean, it's got playability. It's kind of like pay 1, heal 6 if you're playing a control deck, but it's not like immediate, you know, so it's kind of like a resupply on crack, but if they like bounce the card back, you don't get the effect or anything, so it's definitely going to be in if blue control sticks around. I feel like it'll make its way in at least the side deck, but I'm not positive about the main decks. I don't know how important healing 6 is. I don't know. It's like I said, it'll see play if any blue control sticks around. So that's it for blue, though. We're gonna move on to green. We got Phase 3 Dark Trooper. It's a special. It is a 3/3 Sentinel for 3. When combat damage is dealt to this unit, give an experience token to this unit if it survives. Huh. That's not a bad card. Like, it's kind of like a sublot guard on crack, I guess, but 3/3 stat line is probably not going to survive very often, but if it does, it turns into at least, you know, a 4/2 at the lowest, I would say. I mean, you could technically, like, walk it into a super laser tech and survive, so it's got playability for sure. It's also Imperial and Droid, so it's good for OG Grand Moff and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't hate this card. I don't know how good it'll be, but I don't hate it. Got Crosshair, which is an uncommon 4/2 green-black, 2/6. Pay 2, and it gains +1/+0 for this phase. And then you can tap it, deals damage equal to his power unit. So basically, it's a sniper, right? So it's kind of like Han in a sense, but it just does its damage. I feel like paying 2 to get it to a 3/6 is not great. But like, if you're buffing this up in other ways, like it's Imperial, like say you're playing it in like Grand Moff or something, and you just, you know, make it a 3/7 or whatever, and then you can keep tapping it to snipe stuff, I think it'll be good. But I feel like as of right now, this card seems only really playable in Grand Moff, which isn't that meta relevant, but I feel like every time new sets come out, the meta always shakes up. There'll be something that changes for sure, so I'd keep an eye on this card, but I'm not too high on it at the current moment, if that makes sense. You got Pirate Battle Tank, a common 6-cost green-black 4/6 Sentinel. It's a ground Sentinel. Smuggle for 7. Mid. Next. Clone Deserter. You got a 1-cost green-white common 2/3, restore 1 when this unit attacks, deals 1 damage, and bounty draw a card. I feel like this card's good. It's a early drop, decent stats for being a 1 cost. I mean, like if it were me, I'd probably rather it be flipped as a 3/2. It'll be an anti-aggro tech, or it might see play in aggro decks just because of the cost, but maybe not. I don't just to like hedge the mirror kind of, but it's an okay card, I think. Rolling back down, we go Freetown Backup, a 2 cost green white 1/4 Fringe. It is an uncommon. On attack, give another friendly unit +2/+2 for this phase. This is an aggro card. This is like Fleet Lieutenant almost on crack in a sense, right? Like, it's only 1/4 instead of a 3/3, right? But it only costs 2. You can smuggle it also for 3 if you want to do that. I feel like this card's gonna be an aggro deck, but not looking forward to that. It's playable. Moving on, got Sundari Peacekeeper, a 1/5 with Raid 2 and Restore 2. It's also Mandalorian. Uncommon. Like, this card loses hard to ambush, I guess. Like, a Syndicate lackeys from yellow coming out and running this over kind of hurts, you know? But this card's wild. Like, it's basically when you're attacking with it, it's a 3/5 for 3. And it's got Restore 2. Like, I feel like this card sees play in slower decks, in fast decks. I feel like this card sees play for sure in aspect, right? Like, I'd say Leia, Sabine, maybe even Han, things like that. Like, this card sees play. This card's good. All right, we're gonna keep going though. We got Echo. It's a uncommon 4 cost for 4. Restore 2. When played, you may discard a card from your hand. Give 2 experience tokens to a unit in play with the same name as the discarded card. Kind of situational, if you ask me, but I know we saw cards that like let you return your resources to your hand and stuff. So it's like, the only time I think it would be for sure good, right, is if you had like 2 Echo in hand. So you play an Echo, you discard an Echo, make it a 6/6 on turn 4. That's cool. But like, other than that, I feel like it's a little too situational. But we'll see if I'm wrong. And moving on to just the solo colors, you got Privateer Crew. It's 2/2. Smuggle for 6. And when smuggled, gives 3 experience. So basically, it's either a 2 cost 2/2 or a 6 or 5, however you want to define it, I guess. 5 cost 5/5. It's not bad, honestly. I feel like this is a Draft Kingdom card. Like, you draw it. You can play it on turn 2 if you got no other plays, or you can resource it. If not, you resource it and then play it on 5 if you got no good plays there, and it's a 5/5. Like, well, 6 technically. You have to have 6 resources, but you use one of the ones you're paying. You get the gist. But I don't know. It's a draft card. It's nothing special, I don't think. But you got Reputable Bounty Hunter. If an enemy has a bounty, this costs 1 less to play. It's a 3 cost 3/4 common. Meh. Side deck, maybe. Probably not even there. I don't think this sees, like, unless you're playing Bounty Turbo, which even then I don't think this card's crazy. Like, it's, I say borderline unplayable. Could be wrong. You got Price on your head. Attached unit gains bounty for the top card of your deck and play as a resource. So basically, this is cheaper resupply, but you have to clear the unit. Huh. I don't know how I feel about that. Could be good, could be bad. Like, if you're playing this in like a control deck, right? Like, you're playing blue-green and now you have 9 ramp. That's kind of cool. You'll for sure see some form of ramp, but then you're also playing 9 cards that are technically dead after you ramp maybe twice if you're going that hard. I don't know. It's okay. Then we got Timely Intervention. Play unit for hand. Give it ambush for this phase. Smuggle it for 2. Do the same thing. So it's basically ECL on a card. So you'd think that would be good, right? And I mean, it's probably not the worst thing ever. But ECL's free. I mean, sure, it's only once a game, but this is at max 3 times a game, and you're paying 1 for it. So I feel like it's not that good, but could be wrong. I'm gonna say that a lot. I've just accepted it. Like I said, everything's subjective. So last but not least, for green, we have Take Captive, a friendly unit. It's a common, also costs 3. Friendly unit captures an enemy non-laner unit in the same arena. That's it. Trash. Okay, moving on. Deathwatch Loyalist, a 3 cost 3/3 red-black. Common. It's got Grit and Overwhelm. Mandalorian Trooper. It's kind of the same concept as what's it's called. The 3/3 with Sentinel. However, this could see play in Grand Inquisitor, because you could drop that out there on turn 3 if you don't open like your 5th brother or your ramp or whatever you're trying to do. But if you drop this on 3, re-ready it, deal 2 damage to it, it's a 5/1. So that's kind of cool. But other than GI, it's kind of just like an average card. Got cool keywords though, so. Then we got a Cursaton, I think, I don't know. Underworld Wookiee Bounty Hunter. When played, if an enemy unit has a bounty, you may ready this unit. On attack, choose a ground unit. You may deal 1 damage to it for each damage on this unit. Now that, I don't hate. Like, it has ping. Unless you know, if you off it with like a Vanquish or something, or a Dark Side, it kind of sucks. But normally speaking, 3/7's not getting 1 shot. So it's got a ping on it when it attacks, and technically it comes in ready. I feel like if they have a bounty, it's kind of like a yippee, you know, like a bonus. Like that probably doesn't even need to be on the card. I mean, it's kind of just a benefit. But I think this card will see play in a red-black style deck, just simply because, like I said, if it doesn't get cleared right away, if it gets traded into or you trade it into something, then it turns into a ping. So if you say you walking into an Echo base or something, now it's a 3/3, right? Sure, it's not fantastic, but now when you attack, you can either hit something or you can attack and hit the base for 3 and ping a unit for 4. Like, this card's got potential. Kind of depends if there's like more self-inflicted stuff besides Grand Inquisitor, I guess. Moving on though, you got Ruthlessness. It's a rare 1 cost. Attached unit gains. When this unit attacks and defeats a unit, deal 2 damage to the defending player's base. It's +2/+0. Meh. I feel like I don't like upgrades that don't give health. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. Maybe that works on... I'm curious if that works on Seven Sister, honestly. Think how funny that would be. You attack over something with Seven Sister. Like if you're like trying to play cleanup, you attack over something with Seven Sister, kill it, deal 2 damage to the base, and then it deals 3 damage to something else. I'm not sure if her thing says when it attacks a base or if when it deals damage to the base, but like that would be funny. But other than that, I think this card's shit. Moving on, we got tons of tags. Mandalorian Underworld Bounty Hunter, Ketsu Unyo. It's got 3/2 which is the preferred stats. It's got Saboteur, and when it deals combat damage to a base, you may defeat an upgrade that costs 2 or less. Good side deck card for sure. The fact that it's got Saboteur on a 3/2 body, this card will definitely probably end up being an aggro deck card. Like, there's things you can cut that this would be better in that cost 2, I think. So I bet you this sees some play. And then we got Night Owl Skirmisher, which is just a 4/3. It's a common smuggle for 5. Mandalorian, I guess, but not crazy. It's just, I don't know, it's nothing special, I don't think. It's just kind of like a average guard. Got Koshka Reeves. Oh, my wife's calling me. I got a quick mute, sorry. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully you enjoyed your snack intermission. Dead silence. Sorry about that. Koshka Reeves, 4/5 rare. It's on attack. This unit's upgrade. You may deal 2 damage to a ground unit. It's Mandalorian. It'll definitely be in the Mandalorian deck if that is the colors played. It's 4/5, so it's got good stats for being a 4 cost. Yeah, not a whole lot to say about it. It's good. If Mandalorian is good, it's good. Got Wrecker. Boom. It's a fringe clone with Overwhelm. When played, you may defeat a friendly resource. If you do, deal 5 damage to a ground unit. Okay, this is also Aggro Turbo. It's a rare. This seems like Gorilla Attack Pod, but has some better options. I don't know. I don't know if aggro will start leaning back into 6 cost cards, so it might not be in there, but if they do, then this card would probably be over the attack pod, I think. But, yeah. Other than that, I mean, maybe if in a red-white control too, but you don't really want to defeat your resources when you're playing control, so who knows. You got Cripple Authority. 2 cost uncommon, draw a card. Each opponent who controls more resources than you discards a card from their hand. Kinda neat. Like, it's an option for red-white to discard. They don't currently have a ton. Like, there's Spark of Rebellion in yellow. There's Force Throw in red. There's, you know, red. Like, mostly red and yellow have the discard stuff. But Force Throw is villainy. No, it might not be. It might actually just be regular red, but if control sticks around and you need to get rid of Super Laser Blast, this is another way. You got Clan Challengers. Mandalorian 3/6, common 5 cost, raid 3 overwhelm. Yeah, it's okay. It's good while attacking, I guess, but while not attacking, it is not great. Moving on, I think it's IG-11. If this unit would be captured, defeat him and deal 3 damage to each enemy ground unit instead, so you're never trying to capture that, got it. On attack, you may deal 3 damage to a damaged ground unit. If there's ways that you're trying to control with red, in a sense, then it's decent, but I feel like you won't get a lot of value out of it being a 6/5. Like, I don't know. Hit or miss. Got Covetous, that's the word. Covetous Trials, 5/5 for 6. Has grit. When played, you may deal 2 damage to a unit with bounty. Nope, not good. Moving on. Guild target. Attached unit gains bounty. Deal 2 damage to a base. If this unit is unique, deal 3. This, honestly, might see some action Jackson. Like, this is one of the bounties where I feel like you don't have a lot of like direct base damage, right? Like, you got 4 cause, which is, you know, show 4, deal 4 generally speaking, but this technically could get you 3 damage to base, but at the same time, it's like, if you're playing a deck that wants to hit the base, are you really clearing units? You know, so it's like, would I want to put a bounty on something? Like, sure, it costs 0, but it's a card in your hand. It's like, do I want to play something that's gonna deal 3 damage when I have to kill something else, when I could just keep walking in? I mean, I guess if you make something that they have to deal with, they'll trade into it, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I feel like I'll have to check back on this one, because I'm not positive. Like, it's got... I think it's only good if your opponent, like, has to trade into you, you know? Because it's like, you don't... If you're playing it, you're obviously playing it to be aggressive, so you don't want to, you know, take your attack into something else. But if they are forced to clear you with the unit, then I guess it's not bad. But I don't know. That one kind of confuses me. It's the first one I felt like I'm really not sure. Then we got Hotshot DL Blaster. It's a 1-cost rare attached to a non-vehicle unit. +2/+0. Smuggle for 3 and a yellow. So basically, if you're smuggling it has to be played in yellow. And when played using smuggle, attack with attached unit. So, are you playing this just to smuggle it? Like, is it a sneak attack in a sense, or whatever the card's called? I don't know why I'm blanking it right now. First strike, something. The one where they attack for +3/+0 for the turn, you know, that one. Are you playing it just for that? Like, because you're not playing it in red by itself just for +2/+0. It's not that good, but I feel like this would be a card that you would play in yellow instead of in red. Huh. That's freaky. Okay, done with that. On to yellow. I don't think this has been very updated recently, because, I mean, I've seen more cards than this, but this is besides the point. I just want to get this section out of the way for now. Because the only villainy we have is Dr. Evazon. He is shielded, a 3/3/2 cost, and bounty ready up to 12 resources when this unit is defeated. If you're playing into anything besides blue, this card's good. 3/3 shielded, sweet. It can clear anything. Realistically, it's probably going to the face 90% of the time, but It can clear anything early. It's got shield. But if you're playing into blue, it feels really bad because they power the dark side you for free and then play another card, or they take down you for free, play another card. I mean, sure, you're wasting that card, but I don't know. It's freaky. I don't hate it. And I mean, even if your shield gets popped, like, say you trade it into a unit, you know, and now you have a 3/3 that's unshielded that gives them 12 resources. Basically, you just trade it into something before they do anything, and they don't ready anything. So I feel like this card's actually pretty solid, but the bounty looks insane. Like, if you can only play it on like turn 2 or 3, honestly. Like, I feel like you play it on turn 6 or maybe even 5, honestly. If you ever play it that late, you're just asking to be punished. Like, anybody with an ECL, anybody with realistically anything, like a leader drop or something, like, you're asking to be punished. But like, resources 2 through 4, I think this card's insane. 5 through 12, I think this card's unplayable. Moving on, though, you got Grogu, 2 cost 0/5, Force User. Action, exhaust an enemy unit. Okay, so it is average at best. It's kind of like pay 2, do nothing, but once it's on the board, it keeps tapping stuff, so it's kind of neat. It's a special card also, I forgot to mention, so it probably comes in a structure deck. I don't know how I feel about that one. Being able to tap stuff every turn for free is kind of cool. Because, I mean, at least, like, with Fet's Fire Spree, you have to pay 2, but it also is a 5/6 that comes in ready in space, you know, so I don't know. It's okay. It's probably getting the Mandalorian buff if you're playing the blue-yellow, I think that would be. Yeah, blue-yellow. So I guess that would be where you're trying to give your 2 shields if you don't want them to clear this because you just want to keep exhausting one unit over and over, or you trying to control in that aspect. Okay. Not fantastic. Not bad. You got L337, Underworld Druid. When played, you may rescue a captured card if you don't give a shield to this unit. Smuggle for same thing. This card's kind of good, I think. Like, it's like Crafty Smuggler in a sense. Like, it's a 2/2, but at the same time, it has the added benefit of if you need to rescue something that got captured, if captured becomes a prominent thing, I guess, then you can do that. Also, if you don't want to play it later, you can just resource it, and then if something ends up getting captured later on, you can smuggle it out, rescue. That's kind of sweet, honestly. I think this card's cool. I like the design of it. However, if capture isn't that prominent of a thing, then it's just a Crafty Smuggler for yellow-white. So, moving on, you got Omega. Ignore the aspect penalty on the first clone unit you play each round. It's a 2-cost rare also, forgot to mention. When played, search the top 5 cards of your deck for a clone card, reveal it, and draw it. So this is just Hera, but for clones, on a unit instead of a leader. Don't know. If clones are any good, sure, it's playable, but if not, I feel like you're never going to be playing it like stuff to dodge the aspect penalty unless there's like really good clones and you're like comboing it in a sense, I guess. But I feel like that should have been, that first line of text should have been just slapped on a leader if they wanted to go that route, but I don't know. Gotta spare the target. Turn an enemy non-leader unit to its owner hand. Collect that unit's bounties. Uncommon. It's Waylay, but it's only enemy units. But you can get bounties, so you can play 6 Waylays. Let's just leave it at that. Fennec Shand. 4/6. uncommon yellow, 7 cost, has ambush. On attack, deal 1 damage to a defender if it's a unit for each different cost among cards in your discard pile. First thing that comes to mind is Draft House. Like, if you see this in a draft in the uncommon slot, you're probably snagging it if you're playing yellow, right? Like, but besides that, I think this card has some playability if you're in a control-y style yellow deck, because realistically, like, later on into the game, like, your grave's gonna have probably a 2, probably a 3, probably a 4, maybe 5, 6. So by the time you get to 7 resources, you're probably dealing at least 3 damage, I would think, on attack. So it's coming in for 7. I don't know. I think this card's kind of cool. Like, not the best stats for a 7 cost unit, right? But still, like, it's definitely got playability. In worst case, this, like I said, if you see this in a draft, if anybody here's into drafts, this card's an immediate grab if you're planning on playing any form of yellow. But we're gonna move on. We got their bounty that they've showed. Attached unit gains bounty ready to friendly resources. Who cares? I don't. No. McClonky. Return a friendly non-leader underworld unit to its owner's hand. If you do, deal 3 damage to a unit. I don't know how much self-bounce is going to be in play, but self-bounce is always hard to make work. I'm not saying they can't make it happen, but generally speaking, it's a negative for a reason. Like, you say you played a falcon or something and you were gonna return it anyways, because I think, is falcon underworld? I think it is. No, I don't know, but just as an example, let's pretend it is. It might be, but you get to bounce it instead with that and deal 3 damage, which is kind of cool, I guess. But you had to pay the resource to keep it. But there, you get the point. Like, you're still nagging yourself on board. Like, unless that 3 damage is super crucial, to like a clear, you're losing tempo to put something back in your hand for 3 damage. It's probably not good. Relentless Pursuit, common, yellow, event. Choose a friendly unit. It captures an enemy non-leader unit that costs the same as or less than it. If the friendly unit is a bounty hunter, give a shield token to it. Like I said, I don't know how good capture is going to be. I feel like it won't be fantastic if you ask me, just because they get the card back, like, say it's turn 3 and you play this on your bounty hunter or something, you capture it, you give it a shield, and then they power the dark side, or they waylay, or they do something. Like, they get rid of it relatively easy with a different event. Then they get their dude back, and you're at nothing. So, personally, I don't see the capture mechanic being great, but I could be wrong. Then you got Gideon's Light Cruiser. Just a black card. Imperial Vehicle Capital Ship. 70 Overwhelm when played. If you control Moff Gideon as a leader, play a black unit that costs 3 or less from your hand or discard pile for. So this is home 1. Except it doesn't have Restore. It has Overwhelm. It doesn't give other units Overwhelm, which I would think it should, to just match home 1, because this is home 1, but the black card version rather than the green-white version. Oh well. It's playable, I think. Like, if you're playing late game Moff Gideon, apparently, like, sure, it's fine. Cruising along. We're at the end here. I tried to keep it as short as possible. But you got tech. It's just a white card. Each friendly resource gains smuggle. The gain smuggle cost is the card's cost +2 and its aspect icons, and you can smuggle itself for 4. This card's kind of neat. It's also a 2/5. It's a rare. The 2/5 is kind of meh. It's not gonna kill anything. You're pretty much just using it to like be able to smuggle your stuff. Like I feel like this would be like late game where like I really need this one overwhelming barrage. No, that's a villainy card. I really need this home one that I resourced earlier on. I'll pay 10. Ugh, no, I don't know. Like, I feel like this will be combo oriented if there is combos around this, but it's okay, I guess. Mandalorian rifle, 3 cost upgrade, attached to a friendly non-vehicle. When played, if the attached unit is Mandalorian, he captures a unit. Oh, it's got to be an exhausted unit. Meh. You're paying 3 for 3 attack. Like, I feel like all the Mandalorians we've seen have not been like aggro focused. Like, I would have rather this been +2/+1, or honestly even like +2/+2. I mean, the others, like the lightsabers, give +3/+3 or +3/+1 or 1/3 or whatever. Like, I feel like the fact that it's +3/+0 is kind of bad, but I don't like it. It's probably going to be played in Mandalorian, obviously, because they're very upgrade focused, but I don't think it's a crazy upgrade card. And then you got This Is the Way. Search the top 8 cards of your deck for up to 2 Mandalorians and or upgrades. Reveal them and draw them. Meh. Same concept. It's not... 2 costs do nothing, I guess. If you're desperate, if you're playing not a lot of Mandalorian cards and you want to see them, if you're playing like Mandalorian Control, if that's a thing, sure, but I don't think it will be. I think Mandalorian will be mid-rangey. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got. Appreciate you guys watching this, bearing with me. Just kind of figured it is Underworld. I knew it. See, I'm onto something. Alright, but yeah, I appreciate you guys sticking it out with me, watching the video, seeing my thoughts on these cards. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I got any wrong, if you think I'm spot on. Yeah, make sure to drop a thumbs up for me, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.